All right. So, as we were just kind of talking about a minute ago, I'm just letting everyone know the recording has started, so we're not going to stop, but I am having some internet issues. So, if I happen to drop off, I will be back. It is what it is, and we will continue. So, all right. I remember our coffee chat, and I am so excited for this interview because I feel like even though it's fairly common sense, it's still something most of us don't think exists or think about for the online world. So introduce yourself and tell us how you got to be where you are.
So I am Krista Hustead. I've been in the online business world for 5 years now. I am an online business manager for specifically ambitious female entrepreneurs. And you can kind of think of me as a business bestie who helps you manage people, processes, and launches so that you can stop drowning in tasks and start focusing on the big picture. So together with my clients, we usually tackle chaos in your business, get you back on track to doing what you love, build an efficient team, and figure out how you can truly grow your business.
I love it. And now, one of the things I was thinking about, because I think of my friend Carrie, who has this big, beautiful team, and she has different departments of her team. And I will be mentioning to her that she needs to watch this, even though she's very busy, because it's never occurred to me. Like, I've never really asked, and I will ask her if she has just a VA running her team, or I know one of my clients, she got a personal assistant, virtual assistant, same, but so she's kind of running everything, but I feel like it's very different. Like a VA and what you do are very different, correct?
Yes, they are very, very different. So the VA generally is the one like doing the tasks in your business. They have this checklist basically of things they need to get done. Whereas my portion of the business is more of, okay, making sure that checklist is done for them, as well as managing everything else that's going on, helping with the strategy. So you have your long-term goals, your short-term goals, and I'm going to help you strategize. This is how we get from point A to point B or C or word Z, wherever we want to go with this business. Like, this is how we're going to do it. And I'm helping to track all of the things to make that happen.
And so it just got me thinking, like when you think of like a brick and mortar, you have your manager that same, make sure everything gets done and takes care of all the business and all that. But kind of what you just described makes me think of a business coach, which is kind of funny because in the, real world, I don't really know, no one's ever talked about business coaches before. So it kind of sounds like you're like, I don't know how to put it properly. You're a lot. You encompass a lot.
Yeah. So I'm kind of a mix between the two. So if you take a VA who's just doing the grunt work in the business, like down in the weeds in your business, focusing on getting stuff done. And then you look at a business coach who comes in and kind of looks at the overview of your business and how it's working, and they give you kind of a strategy to follow. I'm the in-between. I'm the one making sure we are doing that plan, that we follow that plan, implementing it down all the way to the tiny little to-dos to make that plan happen, and then managing it, making sure that every little piece is getting done, instead of like the business coach is just looking at your business. They're not working in your business. I am a part of your business and your team. I am working in the business right alongside you to make something happen. So I often like to think of like, okay, you have your CEO, right? And then you have the person that gets things done. That's me. I'm the person that gets things done. You, as the owner of your business, shouldn't have to manage that whole mental load of every little detail in your business. So that's where I really shine, is helping you to step away as the manager of your business, having to remember all the little details, all the little things going on, versus being able to focus on, okay, this is how I want to grow my business. there's very few things that you cannot give away as the business owner. So the few things that you can't, that's what you keep, that vision that you have for your business, the big goals, the strategy behind it, the networking with people. Like, no one else can do that for you. You have to do it, but everything else can be given away. And a lot of people are just keeping everything close to them, which I get. It's easy to do, and I do it sometimes too. I'm like, this is my baby, this is my business. I want to let things go. No one can do things as good as me. And I get it. But in order for you to like actually have that freedom in your business, you need to be able to let some of it go and let someone else take the reins for you. And that's where I really shine as an online business manager, because we come up with, SOPs, way to standardize things in your business so they're done the same every time. So the client care is done the same every time, so that nothing is missing from your business, even with you stepping back a little bit. And it gives you the opportunity to take a fully unplugged vacation that all of us dream about as entrepreneurs, but how many of us are actually doing that? Instead, I feel like we're bringing our laptops with us. We're going to work a little bit there because we have stuff that we have to get done still. So, that's kind of where that's the real main difference between like a business coach, an online business manager, and a VA. The online business manager is working in your business. They do strategize with you, but they're also making sure that all of the other little things in your business are getting done as well.
Yeah, and I think there's two things that spring to mind. The first is like literally we all become business owners or entrepreneurs for the freedom. So it is very funny that we're so reluctant to give it up, because that's literally why we're doing it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'll just, like, for anyone watching, nudge, nudge. And then the other thing I'm wondering is, for people who don't know your job is a literal job, and I guess they have like 3-4 VAs running around, and they don't know any differently. I guess, how is there a way to like trigger them that you are the person, it is your time, you need a business manager? Is there that kind of like threshold?
So yeah, usually as a business owner, they don't start looking outside of VAs until they've literally like hit their brain limit almost, where they are fried, they are burnt out, they're having to manage all of these VAs and their tasks, and focus on the strategy of the business and focus on, okay, these are the goals that I want to hit and how do I hit those? And so they just feel overwhelmed, 100% overwhelmed. And they don't want to bring on another VA to manage them also. They want to give up some of that to somebody else. So sometimes business owners will take one of the VAs and say, okay, you're in charge of everybody else. But they haven't really been trained on how to do that. Maybe they'll try, but it still may come back to you a lot of times. Versus an actual online business manager, they're going to come into your business. They're going to assess everything, the systems, the processes, the work that the team members are doing, and they're actually going to find a way to make sure we have the right people doing the right things at the right time to make your business goals a reality. And they're going to help you step away from all of that mental load of having to manage every little detail in your business. There are so many things going on. And if you just think of social media as one thing, there's a lot. So even as the business manager, you're still having to do B-roll. You're having to do, check the work of the VA or your social media manager, unless you trust them 100%, right? Then you're still having to check to make sure that it fits you and your business, that they're talking in your voice, that it's your brand, it's what you want it to be. So there's a lot of back and forth that happens.
That's it. And I was just thinking, because really, again, like, our businesses are our babies. So I mean, name me one owner that's ever like just trusted a VA 100% and gives up all that control.
No one does. No one does.
Yeah, for sure. So I think just for the people that think that, okay, you know what, I am just going to hire a VA to manage. It can't be that bad. Like, how hard can it be? Have you come into businesses that have done this? And I assume yes, and had to like, I guess, tell us the process of like fixing it or cleaning up the mess, or like what do you walk into? What kind of issues can these owners run into trying to do the VA manager thing?
So there are some business owners that can do it very, very well, and they're fine with running one or two, like having one or two VAs on their team. Three is kind of a max for a lot of people, getting to three VAs. Or even just three team members, I would say. It doesn't even have to be a virtual assistant. It could be a copywriter. It could be your social media manager. It could be specifically like somebody specialized, like a tech VA who works on your website and other tech issues or problems that you have with courses and things, or a customer care manager. But all of those people, when you bring them in, if you don't have a process for onboarding them, for training them how to do what you want them to do. And we think, okay, these people should be trained. They should know how to do what I want them to do. But the issue is that you do things differently than anyone else does. And that's why you're a business owner. That's why you're an entrepreneur, is because you are different. So you don't want them to be doing things exactly the same way as they would do it for a different client. You want them to be doing it your way so that your customers and your clients and the people that you're trying to reach, they don't feel like there's a shift at all in what just happened, and that you're still the same person. So if you don't have a clear onboarding process and standardized procedures for the way that you do things, then there's going to be a lot of communication happening back and forth, a lot of emails asking, how do you do this? Like, is this right? Is this not right? And it's going to be a lot of training for at least 3 months. Your business is going to take a hit because it's not going to be generating more revenue with somebody coming into your team for at least 3 months until they are fully trained, unless you have a really smooth onboarding process. And a lot of business owners don't think about that. They think about, oh, well, I needed help like last week with this stuff. I am getting bogged down. I don't have enough time in my day. So they bring somebody on, but they make the mistake of not having a way to bring them on, like a process for bringing them on. So the person doesn't have access to what they need access to, and you're having to wait for them to get access, or you're trying to figure out how to give them access to things. There's so much that goes on with managing what somebody else is doing in your business. So it's not so bad when I come in initially, because hopefully you've had these team members for a little bit. They know what they're doing. But I am going to be assessing, okay, well, what does this person want to learn? What have they not had the opportunity to learn yet on your team? Is this something we could give them the opportunity to do? I like to do a task audit specifically where everybody literally lists down the tasks that they do for the business, including the business owner. And then you're also going to rank them how much you actually like doing them on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most, 1 being the least. Anything 1 to 3, we're getting off that person's plate immediately. Because
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I say that is so interesting, because literally, long story short, one of the I'm currently in this little program, and that's a big thing, is if you're doing things you hate, you're not doing them properly. You're putting in bad energy, yada yada. So I would have never thought of that. That's just so interesting to me. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So when you have a team, you can reassign things, and an OBM is going to be always checking for those at least yearly, if not quarterly, to be like, okay, well, let's just do this task audit. Let's see what everybody's doing, how much time it's taking them. And generally, if you're doing something you don't like to do, it's also taking you more time than it normally would because you're procrastinating it or you're doing it last minute or, so for me, one of those things is graphics. I just hate doing the visuals and like creating the reel and all of that. I don't like it. It takes me probably a lot longer than other people. Like it takes me an hour to do a week's worth of just reels. And I'm like, it shouldn't be taking that long, but it's because I hate it. So I'm going slow about it, dragging my feet. And so when we reassess and we reassign, then everybody can start doing at least 80% of things that they enjoy doing. I always say there is going to be about 20% that you won't enjoy doing, but hopefully that's, minimal, limited, because as an online entrepreneur, you're like, I'm going to do what I love. And then, there's all these admin things and there's all these other things that you have to do. And you just forget that, a business is a business and it still has to run like a business.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Because again, not having heard of your job before, so immediately you come in, do this audit, you're going to increase productivity immensely just with that right there. That is so intriguing. I also have to wonder too, and not that you want to come in and be the corporate job assessor person, but at the end of the day, that could actually save the owner some money. Like they might actually not need the number of hours they're paying all the VAs. Oh, actually, speaking of, so is it within your ability? Because I had two friends actually dealing with this just recently, time theft with VAs, pretending to work and they're not, yada, yada. So is that something you are also able to track?
Yeah. Yeah. So all of the VAs are tracking their time and they send a report. Well, I asked them to send a report weekly of what they did and what they got done and what they're going to be working on the next week, just kind of to help like for priority type of things so that as the business owner and I are talking, we can be like, oh, well, we do need to shift and focus on this a lot more. And the VA may not know yet. So I just like to make sure we're all on the same page. So that's part of it. But yes, also you can see, okay, well, you didn't do very much, like not very much got done because I'm tracking what they're doing. We have a project management tool that I can track what they do. And that's a rare situation. Like if you're hiring the right people, they're not going to do that. But if you're hiring, the wrong type of people, it may happen for your business. So yes, an OBM would be managing and tracking all of that so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I feel especially obviously I'm a coach, stress and anxiety coach and all that. And so we're always called the heart-based service industry or heart-based jobs or something like that. And so a lot of the people I know are the same. We're all out to help people. Like that's just our goal in life. And so I think of a couple of these ladies that have had this issue, and I think, but they're just the sweetest people. So they might be hiring the wrong people because they just want to give everyone jobs and they want to give everyone a 10th chance. And they want to, it's like they're right a little bit too nice. And then I also think thinking of some other ones that have just advanced into that like next level, building the team up and stuff. I mean, if they don't even know what to look for in a VA. So not to put you on the spot, like finances or something, but if someone's fairly new and they're now building a team, is it worth getting someone like you fairly early on just to make sure everything runs smoothly?
Yes, it can be. If you are at 6 figures or above, you can hire an online business manager. So if you're bringing in consistent 6 figures a year, you can bring on an online business manager. If you're not, you're going to want to look at your strategy a little bit more. Maybe go with a business coach first and be like, okay, what can we do to ramp up my income if you don't have ideas for yourself? But we got to be consistent so that you can pay the people under you, because I also don't want you to have that burden of having to pay people when you're not making money, because that's just really hard on everybody involved. So as an online business manager, I do hire and fire. I don't like to fire, but I do fire people as well from the team. That was going to be a
question. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get rid of that responsibility, not completely, because I want I want you to hire the person because they are hired for your business. They're not hired for me. So I will do the whole interview process. I'll do the whole job finding applications for people. And I have my criteria of what they need to hit. First off being, which I tell any service provider out there, virtual assistant, whatever, like any freelancer, if you don't follow my directions exactly with the application, so I'll usually have like a line for my email subject line that I want them to put in. If they don't put that in, I'm not even going to look at that application because they're not following instructions from the very beginning. And they got to follow instructions from the get-go, because you want to be doing things the way the business owner needs them done. So I do have my set criteria. Then I'll interview, like take my top 6, I'll interview them and send the business owner my top 3 so that they have even less to interview and they make the final decision, and we'll chat about it usually. Because it's not just about what they can do, the skill set that they have. It's also about, do they fit the energy of your business? Like, are they somebody that you like and enjoy and want to work with? And do they have an affinity for your vision, for your business? You know, because if they're not excited about it, it's not going to be a great fit for you. Or if you're not really excited about them, it's probably not a great fit. And they'll be a good fit for somebody else. They'll have more opportunities. There's a lot of business owners out there who need help, who need team members, who just doing it yet. So there's specific things that I like to do to help find the best candidate. And I will say, even if we don't find the best candidate that first time around, we've done the whole process and we have 2 other candidates to choose from before we have to redo that whole process again of finding somebody. So it's really beneficial for the business owners if they don't want to do the work to find the right people for their business.
Yeah, and honestly, like I feel like it's that is quite the task, because like you said, I know for myself, just talking to one of my friends, because her business is helping other businesses do a lot of this stuff. And sometimes she says things that I'm like, I would have never thought of that. Like,
Yeah.
if you've never been in any sort of management or any position like that, and especially I know for myself, I, 15 years as a massage therapist, what do I know about the online world? And it's very, it's just such a different mentality working online than it is working, hands-on in a building and stuff. I don't know how many stories I've heard in my past, obviously with, the old last 4 years, a lot of work from home happened. And just so many people that were talking about, like, I heard so many stories of, we'll say, basically them stealing time from their company. And oh, it's great, I get to watch TV while I'm working. And I'm like, you're not being productive like that. Like, just all these things that people would think is acceptable working online, which they would never do in an office. It's just interesting, the things, as a, brick and mortar person myself, never done too much of that online, the things we missed out on and the things we don't even think of looking for. And I was long-winded, but
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. There's different viewpoints of people with online working, and I like to think of my time online. I'm not going to take time online and work for somebody if I'm going to be doing something else at the same time, because that's not actually work. But that also kind of helps me as a service provider to these businesses, where I can take that mental break and check out. One of the things that drove me nuts about corporate is that you had to find things to do to fill your time if they didn't have enough work for you. I'm not sure you ever dealt with that. I was a chemist. Sometimes we had to find stuff to fill our work day to do. So it was so, like, I hated just sitting around and doing nothing. And I'm sure that never happened for you in your career. But, in my corporate career, it did. And I was like, why am I having to figure out things to do? Why can't I just go home? So that's why I love online business, because I can work and then I can take my break and go do something else, you know, in my house, and it's great.
Yep.
I'm not gonna just tag on time because I like to maximize the hours that I have for somebody. And a lot of times I do like VIP days as well, where we are just focused on one thing altogether. So it's, anyway,
Okay.
it's a different perspective. I think it depends on who you are and what generation you maybe have come from, and you know
Yeah.
how much you like to work. So
Well,
just kind
I
of
know.
depends.
Yeah, and not to be, offensive to some people or trigger them or whatever the kids say nowadays, but I feel like there's a certain amount of work ethic also. Like just the fact of why would I pay someone else to pay me to watch TV, or oh, I'm going to run and do my dishes. They'll never notice I'm gone, or like it's just, yeah, in my opinion, it's just not right. And I know other people
Yeah,
might, if you currently do this and you are watching this, sorry, disagree.
yeah, I
So,
agree. It's unethical to do that, something like that.
okay.
You're not being honest with your time. So we have to be honest as individuals for our businesses. And I, you know, as a business owner, I get how that can be scary to bring somebody on that you don't actually know. So you'd probably be looking for referrals from other people before you get to know them. But one way to mitigate that with new people in your business is to do kind of like a trial run or trial project related to what they would be doing in your business. So you can kind of see the work that they put in, how many hours it took them to get it done. And then that's your baseline for, okay, well, these types of projects take you this amount of time. And then that way you're better able to tell if they may be stealing time from you or if they're actually working for the full time.
That's a
And I think,
great idea.
honestly, I feel like communication really helps with that too. Like if you're upfront and honest with them, you know, a lot of times people maybe they were like, oh, well, maybe I'll try it and see what happens, but they maybe don't feel super great about it. So, you know, just talking to them, getting to know them as a person and individual. Because if they're on your team, it's different than just a coworker, in my opinion, with online business.
I
You
think
gain
so.
more of a relationship, even though you don't have the water cooler or lunch chat that you would have in corporate. It's different. Like it's, I don't know. I like it better, honestly. So that's just me though, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there's less putting it because I feel like when people go to the corporate and the water cooler and stuff, it's like you put on a bit of a mask when you put on your suit and your work clothes. And I will say, like, definitely, I'm a person, I wear different hats, and I'm definitely, to my boyfriend, I'm a little bit different than I am to my clients type thing. I'm still me, but you adjust a little bit. Like I would never talk to my clients like I talk to my mom, which people can disagree with. And I'm not saying it's right, just that it happens. um, but it's almost like a persona because I'm just thinking back. I used to work in a casino and you had to put on, and I was a supervisor and in charge of people, and I'd have to cut people off sometimes or kick people out. So you kind of have to put on this like little tough guy thing. And I like to think I never really changed too much, but it is funny. I've seen where people, it's like they step foot in the work building and they just change. And I feel like there's so much less of that online because we're all still at home. We're all like, wearing pajama bottoms or something. And
Yep, right
so,
now, right now.
right. And yeah, so it's like we kind of unknowingly just keep so much more of ourselves, I guess, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did want to go back to though, because you mentioned you do VIP days. So you do VIP days with clients. Okay. So I recently learned what this was. There's so much I don't know still. It's quite funny. I just had never heard of this before. I've never been offered it. No one's talked about it. So it was like all of a month or two ago, I learned what this was. So tell me what that looks like for you. What's a VIP day that you offer?
So there's two VIP days that I offer. One is a 90-day breakthrough strategy session where we are going to map out their goals for the next 90 days. And I'm going to break it down So strategically plan, I guess, is kind of what I'm doing of how to reach those goals. So if you have this goal, so your top 3 goals are what we're going to focus on. You have this really lofty goal of like increasing your presence online, etc. One of the things I may put on that list is you may need a social media manager if you don't have one already. So you may need to find and hire, and I'll put deadlines as well for when these things needs to happen and who's in charge of making it happen. So if it's just the CEO in your business and you maybe have a virtual assistant, we can assign some things to them, but if you need to bring other people on, like that's up to you. And then like the metrics tracking, like how to track to see if you're reaching this goal. So that's one of the sessions I offer. The other session that I offer, and I talk about this a little bit less, is actually a team VIP day where I can help you map out who you need on your team next, and how to find them. We can write the job description. We can map out, how we're going to bring them on, what to ask in the interview questions specifically to this person to see if they're a good fit for your business. And even beyond that. So not just the next person for your business, but I will help you map out, the next few people that you may need in your business as you grow. So as you hit this milestone, this is who you're probably going to want to bring on next. Depending on where you're going. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the gold package right there. That's like platinum.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit more work for me. So I'm like, that's probably why I market a little bit less, because I like to work one-on-one with people, and just having them come and go. I'm like, well, what happened? Like what, I always want to make sure I'm checking in with them, seeing, where they went, because I don't like to just end a relationship. So anyway, I market that one a little bit less, because if you hire me on as an online business manager, we also do that. That's part of the package of having me on your team, of mapping out what we're going to be doing in your business, who we need to bring in next for that growth that you want to reach.
Okay. And it's interesting though, because I could definitely see that second VIP day being almost like your trial, so to speak. Like they'll get this roadmap from you, they'll see how awesome you are, and then probably end up hiring you, because
it depends on if they want to work themselves or not, to find and hire these people. So I think some people are fully DIYers. They're like, yes, I'm going to do this myself. I want to learn the process, which I actually encourage. If you haven't done it before, do it at least one time so that you know what's happening in your business. But they may not have the time to actually go out and execute it. So yeah, that is oftentimes where they'll bring me in, but it just kind of depends on where they're at and how fast they want to grow as well. So the slower growth is fine, but if you want to really grow fast, you've got to have the right team members and the right strategy to get there.
Yep, I'll definitely agree with that. So just thinking back to, I know you had previously talked a little bit about training, like if you're going to hire new team members and you do the interviews and stuff like that, do you also train them?
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot that I can be doing. Like I will manage all these team members for you, and you don't have to worry about them at all. I kind of almost like this red velvet curtain, right? Where the team members are on one side, you're on the other side, and we only pull up the curtain if you absolutely need to be involved in something and we need your feedback on something. Other than that, your business should be running for you behind the scenes while you're focusing on, like those creating a new product or a new course, or, getting more clients, right? Like wherever your time needs to be spent for the actual growth in the business versus everything else that's happening behind the scenes. But yeah.
I think one of my old business coaches, she was so funny. She was very good. I loved her, but she always said, like, you're a genius. She's like, I don't do the online. I don't do all that back end stuff. She's like, I have a course. I can give you my ideas for the course, but to put it online, she's like, that's not my genius. I'm a coach. That's my genius. You have to work with your genius. And that always stuck with me. Work with your genius. And I think it's so true. So literally to your point of like, as the owner, yeah, like what do you need to be doing? You need to be creating, you need to be serving, you need to be thinking of all these new things to do. And then obviously like doing whether it's the coaching or producing or whatever. But yeah, that's like literally it sounds kind of cheesy, but your mission. That's your
Yeah. Yeah. I was
goal.
thinking superpower as well. Like, like as the business owner, you're certain superpower. So if you're a business coach like you are, well, not business, but if you're a coach like you are, sorry, you do coach business owners. And I feel like it really does help them with their whole balance and everything in their life. But if you're a coach and you don't necessarily know, you're right, like the tech behind it, the background of getting things up and running, but you are very good at meeting one-on-one with people, or even having like a group coaching program, or like you're doing your challenge that's coming up, So all of those things are things you should be focusing on, because that's what you are very, very good at, versus having to run the whole business. Like none of us, okay, hardly any of us were in HR hiring people or firing people, right? When we come to the online business world, very few of us are. So we don't know that whole process. And then even when you do come to the online business world, it's a little bit different than actually corporate brick and mortar. So there's a lot of new things that we're having to learn. So, bringing people in, having that network, that team behind you makes it so much easier for you to be successful as a business owner.
Absolutely. And it's funny too, because even I was just thinking, it was about a month ago, I was talking with my one friend, and she was talking about they just hired 1 or 2 new team members, and she had such long days, and she was so busy because she was having to train them all. And all I could think was, do you have someone for that?
No.
Right?
Business owner, you're it, unless you bring on an online business manager. That's usually the only time that you have somebody actually training the people about what they need to do and keeping like tabs on them. Because when somebody new comes into a business, usually you're assigned, well, at least in corporate, I was assigned like a lead sponsor, almost like a sponsor, right? Who walks you around everything, who really just walks you through every little thing about what you need to be doing. But when you come to an online business, that doesn't usually happen for us as service providers. And it would be nice if it did a little bit more, because, yeah, we also want to make sure that we're meeting your needs of the business. But it's hard to see everything if we only have like this cryptic view where we don't meet with you very often. For those first couple weeks, that first month, I'm checking in with them daily, almost, at least the first 2 weeks, every day. Past that, it may be a little bit less, to make sure they have what they need to succeed. Because that's the whole point of bringing somebody on, is that they're successful so your business can be successful. So we got to make sure that we're giving back to these people we're bringing onto our team, so that they feel like they have what they need to help us succeed. And it's kind of like a catch-22 almost, right? Where, you're helping them succeed, so they're going to help you succeed. That's really how business works and teams work in the online business world.
Yes. Well, and it's funny too, because I've had so many times, I've said this so often, it's ridiculous. Like, you think I would learn at some point, but I feel like a lot of us entrepreneurs are the same, where we think we're normal, but we're not really. Like, I assume everyone else is like me. Everyone else thinks like me. Like, I'm not special. And then I'll see people or hear something, and I'm like, and my boyfriend's like, you're not normal, remember? And I'm like, apparently. Like, so I feel like, actually, fun fact, I learned it was, I think, 30%, only 30%. Did you tell me this? Maybe you told me this in our coffee chat. 30% of all humans are leaders or have the mindset to be a business owner, entrepreneur, leader. So only 30% of the population has the ability to do what we do. And of that 30%, not all of us do it. So you think that really in this space of owning and doing, well, I'll say even if like 20% actually go in and choose to do business, leadership, whatever, maybe, I'm just guessing here, I'm pulling this out of my butt. So let's just say 10% actually become owners and entrepreneurs, and the other 10% become leaders. And I think, so really, there's only 10% of the population that think like us.
Yeah, we are very unique. It's true.
Right? And just I know when I heard that and I thought about that, I'm like, that makes sense, because I keep thinking I'm the normal and everyone else is like me, and I keep being proven wrong. One day I
Yeah.
might understand this, but so yeah, to have, and I think so many of us are, again, we tend to be more creative. I'll put us more like artistic in our own ways of what we do. And so I can only imagine, I've never been a VA, but I can only imagine them having to come in and they're techie, like, think of them, my brother's a super nerd and he's computer this, and he's my guy I go to when I have problems. And even when we just have regular conversations in life, sometimes it's like we just don't understand each other. And I think so there they are in this super logical numbers, coding, very right. And then here we are all right. So having to come in and deal with us, and we think, well, that's your job. It's just your job. You get it. Like, you know what to do. And they're just like, but I don't know what to do for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of training that goes on with your own self as the business owner, training them, but they're also going to help train you about how they need things. So it does kind of help to keep you on task a little bit more if you do have team members on your team to check you and be like, hey, I needed this so I can get this done for you. When will I get it? Right. So yeah, a lot of business owners are more creative. I tend to work with the more creative ones because, like I said, I came from the chemistry background. So obviously analytical is my jam. I can see a process and be like, that's where the bottleneck is. That's what we need to improve. Right. And, or the numbers, I'm like, oh, I love the numbers. Like, this is amazing. All these metrics, like, this is what it's telling me. Whereas other creatives, they're like, I am just lost. Like, I have no clue what this means to me or why it even matters. Yeah. We're opposites. But that's why it's nice to have an online team, because you can find people who are really good at different things, and then you just mesh together and you have this magical team that can do anything, and make anything happen. It's really amazing. I've worked with some really, really amazing business owner and teams together where I've just seen, like, it just all works. Like, somehow we all just work together, and it's really fun. That's when business gets really, really fun. And you don't feel so lonely either as a business owner. There's a lot of us who don't necessarily have a big network, and it's different online because you don't go out for drinks with your business, like, coworkers. You don't do any of that. So you're only there for the online portion of it. But if you can find those right people for your team, it's magical. It's really fun. You enjoy it a lot more too.
Yeah. I just think of, like, when you find those friends, it's similar. Like, you find the individual, they have their niche, so to speak, and you all kind of make this complete little package because you all fill the gaps for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be. I'm very excited one day when I finally get my team, and I'm what I can hire.
You're working on it. You're working on it.
Because yeah, I'm definitely that person where I'm like, they're like, look at these KPIs, and I'm like, a KP what?
Yep.
Why?
Right?
I know the first time someone's like, what's your KPI? And I was like, am I supposed to know what that means? Like, what?
Yeah, it's a whole nother language with online business.
Literally that, as one person puts it, the back end stuff, which I think is all the techie stuff. It's its own world. Like, truly, yeah, it's intriguing, but nothing I like doing.
See, and that's what I like doing. I'm like, a graphic, I don't want to do that. but give me numbers and metrics, do that all day. So yeah, it's a really good thing that we're not all the same, because there's no way, like, life would be so boring if we were all the same, for one.
Oh,
But then for two, businesses would have nobody to sell to. Like, we wouldn't need each other. So it's nice that people can have different, niches, different things that they're good at to make the business run smoother and smoother as you go along. So yeah, if you don't have a team, I would just say start looking for what you could assign in the future. And it doesn't have to be now, but that task audit, like just auditing your own time, just take a week, time yourself. Literally, you can use this app called Toggle, and you can time yourself and write down what it is that you're doing, each little task that you do for your business. Do that for 1 week, and you'll be able to see where you are being a bottleneck in your business, where you could potentially bring somebody on to help you grow your business, scale your business if you want to. If you don't, you like it where it's at, just keep it where it's at. That's fine too. But like having team members, it's amazing. It's amazing. And eventually everyone will need an online business manager. I'm just saying it out loud because you hit that mental load, and you just can't grow beyond that without getting rid of that load on you as the owner.
That's it. And I think, again, my friend that I'm going to make watch this interview, I do think of her because, just hearing the different things she's going through and the different things she's still doing. And that's kind of exactly the picture she was painting is, how much more can you really grow? You're already, 14 hours a day, which, as I help people with work-life balance, and I'm like, let me tell you, that is definitely no balance. Like, so it's again, I know I've said it a lot, but I go back to, like, how many people don't know your job exists, and that, like, you are a thing that we do need one day.
Yeah, there's so many people that don't know. Everybody's heard of a virtual assistant, right? And social media manager a lot of times too, because that's one of the first things that you're like, I want to get that off my plate because it's taken a ton of time. But yeah, an online business manager. If I say the word OBM, even now, some of my business friends will think OBGYN, and I'm like, that's not what it is.
That's where my head went.
Yeah, that's what you think of. But if you're thinking about online business management, right, it sounds a little vague, but it really is very niched into helping you as the business owner. I like to be like the right-hand man or woman, I guess, for the business owner, where I'm your business bestie in working in your business, not just alongside where I have my own business. I'm working in your business. I'm fully dedicated to your goals and reaching them and making sure that they succeed. And yeah, there's not a lot of online business managers out there. It's kind of a newer term. It was coined by Tina Forsyth. I don't even think it was 10 years ago. Maybe it was 10 years ago. So it's a fairly new role. And I have become accredited with it because I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing when I transitioned from a virtual assistant, because I was like, I also don't really know what this means, but it's very needed in businesses that are growing and scaling and want to be more than a solopreneur with one VA who want to turn their lives into like that CEO. And with your friend, 14 hours a day, I agree, that's not work. That's not a good balance in your life. And I don't think any of us as business owners starting as an entrepreneur that we thought we would have to work that many hours. That's part of the reason we started it, is because we wanted to work less hours. We wanted to stop commuting. We wanted to do something that we really love doing. And, there's all sorts of people that want to do different things. This for me is perfect. I don't like to be the head or, the front of the show. I want to be behind the scenes, making it happen. I will do the lights for you. I'll shine the light on you, right? I'll make sure your camera's going and that your voice is heard. And, that's where I shine. So that's really where I love to be. Yeah. It's just right behind you. You're forward, and I'll be looking back, making sure things are working.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for if there are any business owners that are, working way too much and they have that big team. And we all have that dream of, running the business, but having the time freedom. I work 4 to 6 hours a day only, but I've got this big team behind me making everything happen. But then we never stop to think, because that's, next year's problem or next month's problem. How does that look? Like, what exactly does that mean? And we don't really, we just get, well, for me, like, I know I just get so excited and think, oh, that'll be so nice. But then I don't actually stop to think, to your point of the VIP day, what will I need next? Who will I need next? Because you always think, oh, I'll figure it out on the way, which is good to a point, because yes, we do. But if we don't even know what all of our options are, how can we possibly be figuring it out properly? It's just kind of like this, a bit of a catch, where I'll like it to when my boyfriend and I are sitting on the couch at 6 p.m. at night, and we turn to each other and say, what are we going to have for supper? And even though, yes, we're going to figure it out and everything's still frozen, we're like, oh, how are we going to make this work? Like that thinking ahead is very important in certain situations.
Yes. It makes your life less stressful. You don't have to think as much, because you don't know what you don't know. So that's why, broadening your circle, networking, like this, where we're having this chat online so people can hear about it and know about it, right? Like, as you broaden your circle and your network, you'll learn more and more. Yeah, if you haven't made some decisions for your business and where it's headed, let's do that now. That's very important. And, focus on that balance of what will work for you. And it'll look different from somebody else. Like, I am not the online business manager for everybody. That's not me. Like, I'm for specific people, and there's other people out there that are for your business as well. And, you just got to find that sweet spot for your business. So it is going to take some work. That's why I say start with a task audit. First, look at, okay, what can I outsource in the future? And then you can make a plan, because a lot of us get to that point where we're like, oh, we need to outsource now. Like yesterday, I am overwhelmed with what just happened in my business. Like, my business just blew up in my face, almost, like in a good way, but you can't manage it all. So you need more people on your team. So yeah, there's just those points. So if we're looking ahead and we're planning for the future, for our goals for 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 year, that's ideally what we're planning for, then we're more likely to reach them than if we are just going by the seat of our pants and hope we don't catch fire. That will be okay. So yeah, that's the beauty of it, of figuring out what you need now and go forward with what you have, and know what you'll need next, where you want to be next.
Yes, that is definitely, I think, a big one a lot of us do forget, for sure. So just to clarify, because I know you're a long-term person, like you sign on with the business and you stay with a manager, just like any other manager. You're there for quite a while, which is awesome, because loyalty is super, super important. But the VIP days, those are for kind of anybody out there who would want to book. If you're open to hosting them, they are for anybody, correct?
Yes. Yep. Anybody who needs them can go on my site and book them, because and other people have them too. But they're basically like for people who aren't quite ready to bring somebody on, but they do need that solid strategic plan to move forward right now, and they're not quite sure how to do it themselves. So yeah, those are definitely available for anybody.
And then the other question is, you had mentioned this in our coffee chat, is because obviously you can only have so many clients because you're long term. Do you have a fairly reasonable network that you can refer people to? Just for people who watch this and you're fully booked, and then they just call you because they don't know what an OB, not GYN is.
Yeah, OBM. I know, right? Yeah. They know what the other one is. Yes, I do have a network. So when I took my accreditation, I got to meet a lot of great other online business managers in the space. So we do chat a lot because even if you do come to me and you're like, I think you're the person for me, I may be able to say, okay, well, I don't think I'm the right fit for you, but I know somebody who probably is. So I do have a network. I'm actually also building this program for military spouses where I'm going to train them how to do all of this online. And an online business manager is one of them. So if you're open for somebody who's more like newer to the space, a military spouse, then I am going to be having that directory where you can fill out a form and people will reach out to you from that form that are military spouses, if you want to give back that way. Where honestly, like military spouses, we move a lot. We need this sort of stability. So this is my way of kind of giving back to that community because I'm a military spouse. But also, if you don't want to have to go out and find people on LinkedIn and Facebook groups and other stuff like that, that will also be another way that you can make it happen. So yes, feel free to reach out to me. I always have resources, even if you're looking for virtual assistants, tech VAs, social media managers. I have a big network of people that I have worked with in the past, or that I know have worked with other business owners that I know as well. So I do have a large network of people that you could be reaching out to and possibly hiring on.
Well, that's perfect. So basically, somebody for any sort of back end that somebody might need.
Yeah,
that
copywriter, graphic designer. I know everyone. At least one for each little field. So yeah.
Well, and like you said, like we are a referral-based society, so we always want to have some sort of connection, to just Google VA. Like, I don't know you, let you on my social media. Like,
yeah, right. I'm gonna give you my passwords for these things, right? It can be nerve-wracking the first time around, but if you find the right people, it's fine, and your business will thank you for it, honestly.
Yes. And I would love for you to expand just a little bit on that course because I'll have to post something on my business page. When I was a massage therapist, I did have quite a few military spouses, and we lived close to a base. So I feel like there's a reasonable community. And I did hear that a lot of you can never really find a job. They always want something to do. But what do you do? Because nobody's going to hire you because you'll probably just leave next year, or like, there's no rooting down. So expand on that a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm building a course. It's called the Work From Anywhere Academy. It's specifically for, military spouses who don't have that opportunity to find a job everywhere. I moved 4 times in the first 4 years of my marriage to my military spouse. And I applied to 100 plus jobs. I didn't keep count, but I know it was at least 100 jobs that I applied to, and no one would hire me. I was over or underqualified for every single job. Like Walmart would not hire me because I had a chemist degree. I was like, really? Like, I just need something to do. We didn't have kids. I didn't have animals, like nothing. And I had nothing to do while my husband was doing his job. And it was awful. And I was introduced to virtual assisting, so I dug deep into that because I had all the time in the world, right, to do something like that. I literally had, and we had just moved, and I didn't have any hobbies or friends, so I dug deep, and I found the people that I wanted to follow, the people I wanted, to connect with, and I started my own business. My first client was my landlord. I just told her what I wanted, what I was doing for my job. And she's like, oh, I need help with social media. So I ran her social media, and then I just kept telling people what I did. And it was huge. And a big reason why I'm like, this type of balance where I can take my clients with me. It's one less stressor on military spouses to be like, I already have a job. It comes with me. Even if I go overseas, right? Usually if you go overseas, you cannot find a job, because you don't have a visa there. Like, you don't have the same type of things that other people working overseas would. So this course is going to be, yeah, right. Yeah. Especially that. I didn't even think of that because I was thinking England and places they speak English, but you're right. So those types of things. So I'm building this course to help you recognize the skill set that you do have, which freelance position this could transition to, like an online business manager if you're very analytical, budgeting if you love numbers, like bookkeeping, virtual assistant if you just kind of want to try out everything. You love social media management, right? We're going to focus on it all, and be able to walk you through how to set up your business so that it is PCS approved and can move with you anywhere, how to find clients, that's a huge one, and how to network with people, and then how to wow your clients, like how to be a really great freelancer or person that they outsource to, because that's important as well. You really want those reviews. And part of that is I will have this directory as part of the course. So anybody signs up for the course will have this directory where businesses will be coming in. I'll be marketing this as well for them to come in and be able to hire somebody who may be newer to the online space, but a very good worker, hard worker. They've been trained. And then I am going to be their mentor as well. So we'll have weekly Q&As where they can, chat with me, ask me questions. Because like I said, I've been in the space for 5 years plus now and learned a lot. I knew what VIP days was before you did, so that was good. But like there's terms that we just don't know. So to have somebody to mentor you, to help you through it, that is a military spouse, I feel like would be beneficial. And I'm offering this at a very reduced price from what other people would offer the same type of course, because I know what we as military spouses, like what our spouses make, and it's not a lot. So I want to make sure this is available for everybody.
I love that, because people really don't, unless you know military people, you just kind of don't know, and you forget, like, single income, like it's not a lot in probably just about any country nowadays.
Yeah.
So
So if you're looking to make like $3K working 20 to 25 hours a week or less, this is for you, because it's easy to do if you know how to do it. It's hard if you are trying to figure it out yourself. So this is a great way to figure it out for you, have somebody to help you along the way.
Yeah, and I do want to mention, I was going to mention that before you even said that, is for people watching thinking about taking a course like this, as someone who has spent a ton of money on the online course, and even though the one business coach I had, they offered an online course, and don't get me wrong, I did learn things, but even there, they had a weekly group help session. But for that one, it was like the actual coach never did that. He had just, people beneath him doing everything. And what they would end up doing is having a subject that they would speak on every week and maybe take 2 questions of like 200 people that are there. So they just rotated the 4 topics over and over. So I ended up like, okay, this is almost pointless. And I don't know, and I won't even ask your prices or anything, because to an extent, I'm going to say it doesn't really matter. You've already said it's going to be affordable. So, but
less
whatever
than a Costco run. That's what I'm marketing it as.
There
that's what it is.
go.
It's less than a Costco run. So
That's really
anyone could do it.
There we go. And having that actual mentorship is so important. If I could go back and save all the tens of thousands that, I don't want to say I wasted, because nothing's ever wasted, but I would relocate it and just pay for the one-on-one and get the mentorship, because you think you can do it, and I will politely tell you can't. Like, maybe you can, but it's going to take you 4 times as long. You're going to get so frustrated, and your odds of quitting before you finish are so high. Like, I can't stress enough how, I don't want to say online courses are not worth it, because some of them are very good. But if you're learning a job like networking, I have had so many business coaches, go out and network. And I'm like, okay, how? Like, and then I go to, right? And nobody tells you the how.
Yep.
And just go to a Facebook group. Oh, okay. And then you're Googling Facebook groups and you're like, what did I get into? Like, it is far more than we realize. And I mean, having that help alone is just priceless.
Yeah. Finding the right help early on can really just build your career, build your business trajectory. So it's the same like with a team member versus, finding the right mentor. You have the right people in your space, your business is just gonna explode. So it's pretty great. Yeah, I'm excited. I am actually gonna limit it to probably about 30 people this first time around, because I also don't love, so I'm more introverted and I don't love getting lost in a crowd, even though I kind of want to be lost in a crowd because I'm an introvert. But I want somebody to notice me. Like, I want to be noticed. I want somebody to take an interest in me in my life still. So I want to make sure that they get that opportunity, because I have been in those courses with thousands of people, and you post something and it gets lost immediately and never gets answered. And I do not want that to happen to people, because it's important to get your questions answered so that you can succeed. And that's the whole point of this course, is to find a way to succeed in business, have a career that's portable and profitable and can move with you anywhere in the world as a military spouse. So I think that's very important.
Yes. And I think when word gets out, it'll be pretty big.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully not too big, because I still think I'm going to limit it. I don't want people to get lost, like I said. So I'm not going to be taking thousands of people.
No, but I will say, is there anything better than having a nice, lovely wait list?
That's true. A wait list is always nice in business.
Because you know what, I'm the same as you, having again done those, accountability, we're here for you, and then you're posting something, you're asking questions, and you're like, but where are you? And similar to you, it's nice to be lost in the crowd until you have a question, and then it's the most frustrating thing in the world. So yeah, I'm like you. I think I heard from someone, they said once, you should never ever have more than 50, but more like 40 max, to actually be able to give people.
Oh, that's good to know. I'll keep that in mind.
So I'm with you. I think 30 is a good number. Now I'm just my personal opinion. I think 30 is a good number until you get the flow of it, and then you really harness your own superpower in that area, and then maybe bump it up.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Like see what happens, and then go from there. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's been lighting me up, and that's kind of what we need as business owners, things to light us up. So when we can focus on the things that we love doing and, get them done, have the right team members, have the right people behind us. And if you need an online business manager, please go find one. It does not have to be me, because
but people,
you will need one. I do know people. Feel free to reach out. I do know people.
Okay, so speaking of, I will grab all the links from you and I'll post them when I post the video and all that. But can you tell the lovely audience where to find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. My name is Krista Hustead. You can just go connect with me there. I like to always DM everybody that I connect with, because I think that's important, that we're not just another face or a name. And you can also find access and write me a message or something on my website, KristaHustead.com. If you're a military spouse, I will direct you to Military Spouse Freelancers with an S.com, because that is where I host everything there, so that you can kind of check out what I'm all about. But if you want to connect with me, look at my VIP days, look at what an OBM can do for you, whether or not it's me or somebody else, you can go to just my website, KristaHusteadmyname.com.
Perfect. That's nice and easy. All right. And I think, you know what? I've never actually checked, because I know your name is in the bottom corner of the video there. So I have to assume that sticks with the recording. I've never actually checked that when I watch it later, but I will check it this time. So it should be.
I know
there.
My last name's weird, and I blame my husband. So.
Oh, my whole name's weird, so it's all right.
Yeah.
All right, I will say we went a little bit over, but it's such a great topic, and especially having the added military spouses, we don't want to limit, military spouses added onto it. And yeah, I really feel like this is it just needs to be known. We need to spread the word. And I feel like I know people that I'm like, you're going to have to watch my interview, guys. Like, seriously.
Well, thank you. It's been really fun chatting with you. You
Thank
are
you so
so good at what you do, and I'm excited to see how your challenge goes. I think that'll be fun.
You know what? I can't lie. Every time I talk about it, I am so excited for it also. So I know I did a live this morning and I'm like all being a little bit over the top, but I'm just like, I am so excited for this. Oh, it's gonna be great. Yeah. So
It's a
but
big deal,
that's it. And when we love what we do, that's kind of like sorry, not sorry.
right? Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time. And yeah, I look forward to staying in touch. And yeah, I can't wait to contact you one day for my own OBM. That's definitely on my list of things to get to in my roadmap.
There you go. There you go. I would love it. It would be fun.
Awesome. Well, I would say have a very lovely rest of your day, and thank you so much.
Thanks. You too.